Hi, I'm Jean Szulc and welcome. This is the second part of my UK Conservatoire's application series, which is the last part also. Perhaps, if there's any questions that remain unanswered, I can perhaps do a third one further down the line. However, in this video I want to discuss the more bureaucratic aspects of application, how I prepared for it. Now, to begin with, I want to have two quick disclaimers just so that there's no confusion when interpreting this video. First of all, everyone's journey is a little bit different or very different from each other. So everything I say here, although it has worked for me, perhaps it won't work exactly the same for you, or perhaps it will even work better. So, I mean, you can't take this as a literal guide, you just have to find a way that works for you instead of just following every step I cite here in this video. And second, this is not an official guide. There may be information here that isn't completely right. However, I'm just saying my process, what happened for me, what worked for me. So it means that it may work for you and it may be very useful information. However, it is important that you do your own research and that you search what you need for yourself, because that's the only thing that will guarantee that you will pass and that you will achieve what you want. So something that's very important to decide before you're preparing yourself to your full extent is just deciding where you want to study and what exactly do you want to study. I decided I wanted a Bachelor of Music composition degree in a conservatoire in the UK. I talked about this a little bit in the last video, so if you want to know about this, you can go check the first part. However, it is very important that you understand what each conservatoire can offer to you. Perhaps you want to also apply for universities, which there are two different types of institutions, so you have to search for that, you have to understand what they are. And the thing is that you need to see in each conservatoire's website what conservatoire is the best for you and which one will actually give you the resources you need to achieve what you want further down the line. Perhaps you think that every conservatoire is just the same, they all have the same level, because they do, they are all incredible. However, the most specific details, they will differ a lot on the results and the outcomes you will get further down the line, because some conservatoires will have a more modernist approach, some will have more like neo-tonal approach. And I mean, although you can study everything at every place you're in, it does change the location you're in, will change the outcomes of your efforts. So it's very important that you go through each university's or each conservatoire's website and see what they offer. And also, although the websites won't usually directly say all this information to you, it is very useful that you contact students and professors and staff in the university and ask this kind of stuff, because this is the thing that will really allow you to understand how a university or a conservatoire think or works. Usually students and staff are really receptive to having a Skype conversation or exchanging a few messages over Facebook, Reddit. So it's really useful that you find a few contacts in the universities that you're willing to apply to, and that you ask them what really can you get from the course, and if you have more specific doubts, also don't forget to ask them, because they are the ones that will be able to help you. Okay, so after you know where you want to study, or you at least have an idea of it, it's very, very important that you understand what each conservatoire actually wants from you, because it may differ quite a lot from one conservatoire to another. And the thing is that for me, there were conservatoires that asked like from 2 to 5 pieces. Some asked like a fixed number, like 3 pieces, no more, no less. So also some have like auditions that you will have to perform, like sight reading exercises, sight singing. You will have to harmonize something. Some don't. Some just want to see your portfolio and just want to talk to you. All of this you have to know before you apply. And each university will give that to you. They will indicate you what do you have to prepare for, and it's very important that you read that on each university's website. And this goes for composition applications, instrument applications, master degrees, whatever you're thinking about, you have to know this stuff. Okay, so now you have already decided where you want to study, you know what you need to study there, so what you have now is just hard work, you know, that's where you have to prepare yourself, you have to study. It's very important, I talked about it in the last video, in the part 1. You need to find a teacher, someone to guide you, especially if you're going for an undergraduate degree, perhaps if you're going for a postgraduate, you have already prepared, but if you're going for an undergraduate degree, it's very important that you have a good teacher that will help you get to where you want, instead of just teaching you whatever they want. So it's very important that you find someone and that you inform them of what you need to achieve and how can you achieve that. And that's when actually you will tell your teacher what steps you need to complete so that you get into the conservatoire. Perhaps you compose really good pieces, however they are all very close to each other, they are very alike, and you will show only one side of your compositional abilities or your compositional capabilities. So it's very good that you do have an extensive portfolio that you can borrow from. I didn't have, like, this is something I'm saying that I wish I had a better portfolio when I decided to apply, because I wasn't a composer back then when I decided to apply for composition. As I said in my last video, I just said, okay, composition is very interesting, I want to do this, I will apply for a degree on it, but I don't compose yet, so I had to find a good teacher to guide me, and he did guide me really well. As I said, think through your stuff. Just don't leave it to someone else to think, because this is something you have to do, I believe, through your entire career. You know, just be your own boss. Like, I guess that's just really good advice for. I mean, that perhaps isn't really good advice for everything, but for most things, I believe it is good advice. So, okay, so now you are working on your portfolio, on the pieces you have to perform, on the skills perhaps you will need for the audition. It's important that you know that you are getting to the standards that the conservatoire wants. And you can know by asking people. That's, I guess, the only way. Just contact people from the university, staff, students, and send them your pieces, send a video of you playing, and say, like, is this enough? What do I have to improve? And it would be good that you send this to as many people as possible, because you want diverse opinions. Just like the application panel or the evaluation panel, they will have diverse opinions on what you show them. And it's important that you have the widest gamma possible of opinions before you enter a room in which you will be evaluated. So this is very relative. Perhaps you will feel like you're not at the standards that the conservatoire needs. Perhaps you will and you're not. Perhaps you feel like you're not to the standards and you are. You know, this is really relative. You will only know that after you receive an answer from the conservatoire, if you were or not accepted, but you can kind of guess that from the start. So it's important to always re-evaluate your process and redesign the path you will have to follow so that you can achieve things easier. Okay, so if you don't know, this is something you have to search. In the UK, you apply through something called UCAS. It is just an application platform, and if you're applying for conservatoires, you will use a different platform, which is called UCAS Conservatoires. Pretty direct. So it is basically a platform that allows you to apply to various universities with the same application form. You just fill all your data, all the things that they ask from you, your profile, and then you choose which universities you want to send them to, and the universities will also ask something else from you. Like each conservatoire has like its own process, but you apply through the same platform. So you need to understand how UCAS works. You have to create an account, you read what they have, you try to understand how it works. And I cannot teach you that, because it's just kind of learning how to use the software, it's just you try it until you learn it. The UCAS support is really great. It's through Facebook. You can also call them, but I think that Facebook is a great option for contacting the support that they have, because they answer right away, and then they answer like to their full capabilities. They will help you. I can't guarantee that, but in my experience, the support will be great. And this tool is really, really helpful, and it's important that you not only follow every step that they guide you through. And this is really bureaucratic. I don't have really much to say about it. Just make your application. There's always like a help tab in every page or in every option. So they will give you thorough explanation of what they expect from you. Then after you finish your application, you pay the fees, you will start to be considered a candidate for whatever you applied for. And it's also useful to note that the 1st October deadline isn't really that strong, because if you mail the university like 2 months after, perhaps they will, you can ask them like, can I still apply? And for me, they said yes. I applied late for a few conservatoires and was accepted at them. After you apply and you're being considered as a candidate, it's important that you follow your application. There's an option called Manage Choices, which will tell you like what each conservatoire want from you. So like perhaps it will say audition pending, because they read your portfolio and now they want to meet you in person. You may get a denied notification, which basically means that you didn't pass. The conservatoire has already evaluated your application, and they know from what you sent that you are not either to the standard of the conservatoire or to the standard of the other applications that they received that year. So it basically means that you didn't pass, and there's nothing you can do, unfortunately. So you can only apply next year. That's all. You can also get reserve, conditional or unconditional, which means that they are interested in your application, but at the moment you are not their first option. They would like to offer you a place, however they don't have enough places for you to fit in. So what it means is that you will be set onto a wait list, and if someone drops their place, you will be considered once again. So, however, it is quite a gamble, because you have to accept a reserve, and if you accept a reserve, you're denying guaranteed, which is the next option. A guaranteed means that they liked your application and they can guarantee that you have a place. They have space for you, basically. So this is the best option you can get, because it means that you already passed. There's nothing that can take you the place in the university. Both of these reserves and guaranteed can also have conditional or unconditional statuses. If you have unconditional, it means that you have already supplied everything that they want from you. They won't ask you anything else. Also, you may receive conditional, reserve, or guaranteed, which means that they have offered you a place or they have put you on the wait list, but they want to see something else from you. Perhaps you didn't fill a document in your application and they want to see it. They want to see your high school grades, they want to see an extra work of yours, and that's it. You know, you have to supply them with what they will ask from you. I mean, after that, you just have to manage your choices. You have to see, like, where did you get in, and where will you accept your offer, you know, and that's just, I mean, it's simple from there on. You just have to read what they think of you and accept it or don't, you know, that's how it is. Also, if you get declined a place somewhere or everywhere, really, you don't have to be discouraged, and you will probably, because that's how we feel about it. But the thing is that that's just how it is. I got denied a few places in locations I really wanted to study, but that doesn't mean you're not worth it. It just means that you weren't able to fulfill what they wanted from you at that moment. And perhaps you can apply next year, or perhaps you can go study somewhere else and get a master's degree later at the location you wanted. Every conservatoire is at a really high level. And you really, I mean, whatever you go to study, that's at least my opinion, perhaps you might disagree, but whatever you go to study, it will be incredible. You will have many resources disposed to you. Perhaps it won't be exactly what you expected for, but it will be equally as good as in a different manner. It's just part of the process. You will get denied some things, you will achieve some other things. Just get used to it. That's at least how I think of it. So, well, that's all I have to say. Just prepare yourself, study. It's important to do both, to understand how it works and to actually put in practice what you know will work. Go with it if you want to, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any outstanding question, don't forget to leave them down below. I will surely answer them to my fullest capability. Perhaps I won't be able to give you all the answers, but I will tell what worked for me. If there's something you want me to develop further in another video, perhaps I can do it, so just get in contact. Also, if you want to receive more from this channel, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because it really does help and it allows me to get in contact with you whenever I post something new. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time, and cheers!